Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to yet another very interesting conversation on Dharma, our culture, and people who are not only on the path of Sanatan, on the path of spiritualism, but they're also finding out the science in it. So, oftentimes, it's amazing to see the number of people who are on the path of science who are also very deeply spiritual. Another person who's been on this path for a long, long time. It's a pleasure to have a conversation with you, Professor P.R. Mukund.
Thank you, Namaste.
So, Professor Emeritus at the Rochester University,
Rochester Institute of
Institute of
Technology.
Technology,
Correct.
yes, and now, along with that, more than 18 years trying to back something like Tara Prakashana,
Correct.
printing and saving more than 3,300 manuscripts, and also talking and bringing the science, the philosophy, the logic beyond just the theological element of our Sanatan past. So tell us a little about how did you embark upon this journey? Let's start from there, and then you can bring it into why do we need to save our manuscripts?
Sure. Um, Actually, I need to go back one more step, if you don't mind. There's a lot of, perhaps I can call it misconceptions, that if you want to follow Sanatana Dharma or if you want to learn something about it, the starting point is learning Sanskrit, right? That's it. So if you don't know Sanskrit, then what do you do? So that's a very long journey, and so the way I explain it, because I, as you said, I come from a technical background. I spent 51 years in electronics, something like that. So I always, my training forces me to think in the engineering technical, use it as an analogy, right? So if you look at that, for example, if you take a cell phone, mobile phone, and let's say you go back 15 years when there were no cell phones, but you needed it. So you want to go to a scientist or somebody and say, can you please design or make a gadget which I can use to talk to people far away without plugging into anything or wire it. I should just be able to punch a few numbers and I should be able to talk to somebody in US from India. So if you go to a mathematician and say, can you please do this? The mathematician says, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I can teach you mathematics. Then you say, okay, fine. Let's go to a physicist. So you go to a physicist who understands how matter works and all that. But he too cannot do that. So finally you come to the engineer and say, can you do that? The engineer is neither a mathematician nor a physicist, but he knows enough mathematics and enough physics to actually find solutions to the problem
At hand.
that you're looking for, right? In the spiritual domain, it's the same thing. Samskrita is a language, just like mathematics is a language. So if mathematics is a language for the science and technology and engineering and so on, Samskrita is the most suited language for abstract spiritual thought. And we do need linguists, people who are scholars, in the language, but they cannot solve problems for you, right? They can teach you the language. And then these people who study the Shastras, very important, because Samskrita is the language in which the Vedic thought is expressed, because it's most suited. The Vedic thought is like physics, it's like the science, right? But what you really need to do is take that and come up with real solutions for problems, because the problems vary from place to place and time to time, right? Whereas the Shastra is Sanatana.
Correct.
So you extract things from the eternal and make it current
Current.
and apply it so that whatever problems I may face, I find solutions to that. That's basically what I do. I'm not a Samskrita expert. I'm not a Shastra expert, but I know enough to be dangerous.
So you're the engineer.
I'm the engineer,
You're the engineer.
both professional and otherwise.
You've authored a lot of books. The Numbers and Symbols in Vedic Thought is the latest one,
Correct.
right? You also wrote the 10 Gunas,
Correct.
authored it, and then Karma and Intent. So these are all not very, they're all recent. In
Just the last 3 years.
3 years.
Three,
So
4
it's been,
years.
you've been at it. But the point is, these are such deep subjects. How are they so small and so thin?
Ah,
So, and if you're saying the 10 gunas or mindsets for the jiva, that is you, the jivan, that is life, and moksha, that is fulfillment. Numbers and symbols, everybody has these things about numerology. It's a very complex science. Each number matters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6, up to 13. Everything has different significance. And I was thinking, oh, okay, Professor Mukund is writing this book. It'll be a nice thick volume in his book. And I look at this book and I'm like, really? Now what am I going to read out of this? So let's understand that from you.
yeah, sure. See, the thing is that language over time can change meaning in the words, right? The same word from region to region in the same language can mean different things. This is true of all Indian languages, actually, including Sanskrit, right? And from time to time, it changes meaning. So the question is, when you express thought in a given language, what calibration mechanisms can you build into it? So after 1,000 years, 2,000, 5,000 years, you can use these things because it should be something that does not change, right? Now, symbols, a shape, like a square is a square,
Yeah.
right? Circle is a circle,
Yeah.
yeah?
It'll always remain the same.
It'll always remain the same. So if they say, can I give you
Yeah.
one little actual example
please,
of that?
Please.
Okay, so when we offer Naivedya to God, right, there's something we call mandala. It's a shape.
Yeah.
So if you offer something to Krishna, you do a square. It's called Chaturashra Mandala.
Chaturashram.
On the other hand, if I'm performing Shraddha for my father, for example, in there I do circular. So when you give it to Pitrudevatas, it's circular. So you should wonder, what the heck, like
Why are the shapes changing?
Why is it changing, right? And so and if you look at the words, then you use this to calibrate that, be it symbols or numbers. Numbers also play a very, very big part. For example, like if you go to some temple or something like that, and you look at the murti, that murti is full of symbolism.
Yeah.
Full of symbolism. You cannot say that, oh, there are 4 hands, why are there 4 hands? No, none of us have 4 hands and therefore it doesn't make sense or something like that, right? But the thing is, you don't look at it as a human being, you look at it as an icon that includes symbols and numbers too. Numbers too, yeah? I'll give you one example in that relates both symbols and numbers.
Okay.
There are 4 hands. The question is why? Why not 5? More the merrier, right? So why not 6? No, you cannot do that because anything you can get from the infinite is only one of 4 kinds. We call that Chaturvidha Purushartha, right? Purusha Artha. So any resource that a Purusha can get from him is only one of 4 kinds. It will fall into whatever it is. It will fall in one of 4 things: Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Right? So each one of those. So if those are 4 things so what is it that we use to give things? So the fact that there are 4 hands, we should interpret that as saying, oh, from him, he will give me, he can give me, if he wants to, he can give me 4 things. That's why those 4 hands are there. It's not like some guy sitting there in the sky with 4 hands or something like that. That's from the symbolism perspective, right? The 4 number, from the number perspective. If you look at the symbolism part, you find that, you say, okay, fine, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all these things. Why those things? Why? Sometimes it's referred as ayudha.
Yeah.
And ayudha, wrongly translated in English as weapon. He doesn't need-
Instrument.
He doesn't need any weapon. So, like, if a policeman carries a gun, why does he do that? Because it can give him extra power. But he is all powerful. So, he doesn't need any weapons. So, Ayudha is not a weapon, it's a part of him. It's actually a part of him. Like, if you look at the chakra, the Sudarshana chakra is Krishna. And Krishna, it's not like some separate thing he's holding.
Correct.
It's part of him. But why that form? Why that specific thing? Why does that, if you look at the chakra, that represents the dharma. So what is the relationship between dharma and chakra? But it also says, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam or Mahabharata or something, that, wants to kill Shishupala or something, Krishna used chakra. So, and if you look at a TV show or something like that, they'll show a little disc, it comes and cuts off his head. But if you actually look at the chakra, every chakra, in the first place, why a chakra should represent dharma? Because dharma is eternal and it keeps going on and on.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Sanatana Dharma.
Yeah.
That's why we call it Sanatana Dharma. It's a circle. It's a cycle. It keeps going. You may say, what do you say? Because dharma and adharma sort of go together, right? Sometimes Shri Krishna said that in Bhagavad Gita, whenever there is too much adharma, I will in some form come and...
Abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham.
Exactly. So I'll set it right, right? So if you look at a wheel, why, like if you drive a car or a motorbike or whatever, why do we use wheels in them? Because with the same amount of energy, it will take you farther. I can walk or I can ride a bicycle, expending the same amount of energy, but with the wheel, I go farther. So in my lifetime, if I want to do some sadhana, accomplish something useful in life, if I use dharma, I can go farther. In the same amount of time, expending the same amount of energy. Secondly, every wheel has three important parts, right? One is the axle that drives everything, then the spoke, and then there's the rim. All three parts are important.
Correct.
So, if it represents dharma, what that means is that in my life, right, the spokes represent the different aspects of my life, be it personal, professional, whatever. We all have
The
many
various cogs.
various things. The important thing is they all better be connected to the axle. So what is that one driving principle at the center of everything you do in life? We tend to put it in cubby holes. We'll say that this is personal, this is spiritual, this is something else, blah, blah. But a real dharma, a dharmic person, if you, I don't know if that's the right word, but somebody who follows dharma, every single thing he does should be connected to that one single thing. And some of us call that Hariseva.
Hariseva. Yeah.
On one hand. Now, what about the other end? So wheel, you may have like 100 spokes connected to axle, but if the other thing is just floating around, that's not a wheel.
Yeah.
So also at the other end, all of them should be connected also. So if I do something professional, that should benefit, should some way connect it to my family, for example. If I do something for my family, it should be connected to spiritual and so on. If they're all connected, that is real dharma. And that is why the chakra is used as
A representation or a symbol
dharma.
for dharma.
And we can go on and on. We don't have time to do that. But all the four, again, if I can put in a plug for my book.
yeah. All of them. You
no,
mentioned it.
No, that one, the symbol thing.
Yeah, the numbers and symbols.
Yeah, in that all the four are explained.
All the four are explained. But you didn't explain the square and the circle. Why?
Square and the circle. Yes. Yeah, thank you. So the square and the circle. So when you offer something, right, it should be bound when you're offering it to God, if you can say that, use that word. It should be within that. In my mother tongue, we call it chaukat.
Chaukat. Yeah, chaukat. The square.
The limiting thing.
Yeah.
So that is this four Chaturveda Purushartha.
Dharma, Artha,
So,
Kama, Moksha.
dharmartha kama moksha. So when I offer something, after all, in the Vedas it says yatha yatha upaste tadeva bhavati. Like whatever you offer, you'll get it back, right?
Get it back.
So whatever I offer, I cannot, for example, I cannot make some money using adharma and buy something, offer it to come. He will not, because it's outside that square, right? So it should be within, whatever I'm offering should have been gotten within the constraints of those four things, dharmartha kama moksha, right? Kama, for example. What if I offer something and in return I'm asking for something not good? It's not within that square, and so on. So even the kama, like we all have kama, we all have desires, that also should be within this square, right? So when you put that thing, there's one other thing to actually, we put those four square things, we create a square thing and then we put three lines going from southeast corner to what? Yeah, northwest corner,
Northwest
right?
corner.
So we have Dig Devatas also, right? In this corner is Agni. There it's Vayu,
Vayu.
right? So what happens is, anything I offer, I have to offer like a homa to that Agni. And it will end up in Vayu, which is the energy.
Energy.
So my offering is to Agni, but the result I get will be energy.
Energy.
So the best thing you get, otherwise if I keep some bananas there, it's those bananas are same bananas, nothing happens, right? But but when I take it as prasada, when I offer it, what has happened is the energy in that has been
Transformed.
transformed.
So there's the transformation which we don't see it, but does that also mean that a lot of what Sanatan practices, Vedic knowledge, and like you said, mentioned in the Shastras, is it heavily quoted in science? Is it scientific? Uh, because there is always this argument that either it's spiritual or it's scientific.
I
It can't
know.
be the twain can't meet.
Yeah. Well, actually, one of the questions that I get asked a lot of times is that, oh, I have 4 degrees in engineering. I was a professor. I did a lot of research. I did all that stuff, right? How does that, like, how can you do this stuff? And it's almost like they're orthogonal to each other.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not. How can it be? They're not. When, like I said, anything I do in engineering, okay, the Western science, not that we didn't know that, right? But they built upon that, which is the science of matter. It's all about matter. Our people, for ever so long, not that they didn't study matter, like there are some metal stambhas standing after 10,000 years or whatever, right? But they focused on the energy part.
Okay.
So the Vedic science is the science of energy, whereas the Western science is more science of matter. And both are important. They're not orthogonal. They go hand in hand. They're like two sides of a coin. Is the tail and head the same? No, but the coin actually exists between the two, right? So similarly, there is the science of matter and the science of energy. We focus on the science of energy, but the matter is the one that carries that energy. So you're more concerned about what is carried. I'm not focused on the banana and say how good is the banana. I'm more concerned about what is the energy contained in the banana, even if it's not the best banana in the world, right? So we focused on that. That is why I don't think it's orthogonal. Let me just say one other thing, quickly, if you don't mind.
Not at all. I'm enjoying this.
Good. So we talk about science, right? So many things that say, oh, it's not scientific. I hear this comment all the time. Why are you doing that? It's not scientific. My question is this: how do you define science? See, before you can say something is scientific or not, first you have to define what is science, right? You cannot take the Western definition of science and call it science. Take physics, for example, right? Even now, there are people doing PhD research in theoretical physics, for example. So why? Well, because there's something still unknown. That's why they're trying to discover new things. And sometimes when you discover new thing, the old thing is, say,
Forgotten.
it's replaced, right? So, what exactly is science? And my claim, which people may or may not agree, is that you cannot derive truth. Nobody, even in engineering, I used to tell all my PhD students, say, they'd come and say, sir, how long does it? I said, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, right? But I'll tell them, but I can tell you one thing though, your actual PhD is done in one day. They say, what, one day? I'll say, yes. You see, you have to see the truth. And you see it in an instant. It doesn't take years. But to get ready to see the truth, it may take 2 years. And once you see it, you have to prove it to others.
Yeah,
That'll
that
take
you've seen
another,
it, yeah.
take another 2-3 years. But the seeing part, we call it spurana in Sanskrit, right? You just see it, right? And so science is somebody saw something, okay? Even in material science, they saw something, and they said, okay, here's a hypothesis. There's a fellow called Bohr, Neil Bohr.
Yeah.
You ever heard of him, right?
Yeah.
So he said, an atom looks like this.
Yeah.
There's a nucleus, yeah?
Yeah.
Protons are there, neutrons are there. Then all these electrons are going around it in orbits. That's what the Bohr's model for an
Model
atom,
for
right?
Atom is.
You know what, Anand, I have to tell you something interesting. I spent 51 years in electronics. I've never seen a single electron or atom. So can I say, I can go to Mr. Bohr, he's not there, but if I could, I'd go to him and say, he says, okay, electrons are orbital. I'll say, okay, show it to me. If you don't show it to me, it's not scientific.
Yeah.
This thing is okay, fine, whatever. So a hypothesis, it's like this. So in some sense, say, idamitham. This is the way it is.
This is the way it is.
This is how it is. You cannot say, show it to me. Even in science, you cannot do that. So then what do? How do you prove or disprove that? Because it will be wrong. It can also be wrong, right? So you design, it's called design of experiment. So you design a controlled experiment, okay, which will either prove or disprove that hypothesis. Run that experiment hundreds of thousands of times. There are certain inputs, certain outputs. You observe the outputs and see it. So if the outputs based on the input proves that only if that hypothesis is true, you'll get these outputs. You design the experiment carefully.
Correct.
It happens, then you accept it. So we accepted
But in our
Bohr's.
Shastras, there is also the science of the absolute. So there is an absolute truth and you have to accept it because we cannot
No, in
comprehend.
anything, right? So even in Adhyatma, so if somebody says, there is such and such a thing, he says, show it to me. I say, no, I cannot show it to you, but I'll do this though. You design an experiment, okay, which will either prove or disprove. And you do that many times. You do it. You don't have to believe me. You do it. And if you do that, if you consistently get the same result, then you have to accept it.
Then you would accept. Okay.
Otherwise, you don't have to. So if that method is used, in my Shishya Varga, among my students, there are people who are CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies, and they're cardiologists and corporate executives and all sorts of people ranging from 18, 20 years all the way up to 60 years, right? Why do they come to me? Because this is what I tell them. I said, you experiment. I'll tell you the hypothesis. I'll also design the experiment for you.
But you got to do the experiment.
You have to do it in your
And
life.
as long as you get the same result, you got to accept it.
It's up to you.
But, Professor Saab, if I may ask you, there is also this thought that most of our ancient wisdom knowledge is gone. Only about 2 to 5% is left. And you're doing something which is a phenomenal service, that at least this much, whatever is left or whatever can be compiled, remains for the next 10 centuries, if not more. Now, what is this technology and how are you doing it?
Yeah. Well, in the first place, I don't there are two parts to this, right? Oftentimes we get confused and think that a manuscript is the jnana. No. So the jnana is still there. We have lost manuscripts. We have lost the written word. We have not lost the jnana.
No, no.
Because in our way of thought, it's just anything like what we are doing right now, you and me sitting here and talking, it's recorded. Where? In Akasha.
In Akasha.
So if somebody is qualified, he can extract that. Extract in the sense, he'll just be sitting there contemplating on that, and that knowledge that is there permanently will come. Otherwise, how can it be Sanatana? So let's not get confused between the written word in a manuscript and that. So the words that these rishis wrote, they realized that it's limited, right? I always say that it's like they're giving you a key that opens the door to actually what they knew.
What they knew.
That's all.
Okay.
Right? So, you cannot just keep looking at the key and say, what does the key do for me? The key doesn't do anything except open the lock. That's all it does,
correct.
right? So, I don't lament that knowledge is lost. But to come to your point, but we do need to save manuscripts, because if you throw the key away, then you have nothing.
Yeah, you can't open the lock.
Right?
Correct.
So it's important.
Yeah, and not everybody in Kali Yuga is qualified enough to download like Vyasa did. So that's also true.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's a cycle.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, as far as technology is concerned, if you look at a manuscript, there are different types of manuscripts, of course. We deal mainly with the palm leaf manuscripts, because in the southern part of India, there are a lot of palm trees. So that's what they use. There are other things. In the north, someplace they use bark and so on. But no matter what, if you look at that, by the way, it's not ancient wisdom. It's Sanatana wisdom.
Sanatana wisdom. Okay.
There's a so
It's eternal wisdom.
It's
Let's say.
eternal wisdom. It's not
Should
ancient
replace
wisdom.
it even in the
Yeah, it was true ancient. Maybe they knew a little bit more, but it's current. It will be in the future also. 10,000 years from now, it's the same knowledge.
Same
Right?
knowledge, yeah.
Anyway, coming back to the manuscripts. So there are. If you look at a palm leaf, they didn't actually write on that. It's actually more engraving. So they took a sharp metal object and it's like engraving, and then they put some ink on it and vegetable ink, and so that created the contrast.
indentation and the paha.
The contrast between where the engraving was there and where it was not. So that's how you can take it up and read it. What happens over time is that sometimes the ink goes away. There's a lot of growth, some kind of thing on the leaf, and you can barely decipher what's going on. So the question is, what do we do? So in terms of imaging, we, to the best of my knowledge at least, in 2005 December to 2006 June, when we were working with a manuscript which is 800 years old. These are the original writings of one of the three acharyas, who was Acharya Madhva, is the last one among the
Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and
correct,
Madhvacharya.
and he was the last one among those three, and that's 800 years old. So if you look at that thing, it's very brittle, very very brittle, and you can't read it at all. You just can't read it. So we came up with this technology which is referred to as multispectral imaging. So what happens is that when you go from ultraviolet to infrared and image an object, right? It's not like putting it in a scanner or something like that. Actually, those frequencies penetrate to different depths.
Okay.
Right? So when you do that, do it at different 10, maximum 10. You can also do just 2, 3, whatever, right? It will bring out what that engraving is at different depths.
Depths. Okay.
So once we get that, we computationally merge it, and you'll be amazed. If I show you the original thing, and actually it's on our laptop, after our thing is over, I can show it to you. Something you just cannot see at all. You can beautifully see that thing.
See it.
That is the imaging part. Once you image it, now you have a digital image. Question, what will you do with it? There's so much focus, everywhere on digitization. In the first place, we need to have standards for digitization. Otherwise, just scanning something doesn't. I can take an iPhone or something and take a picture. So why should I do all this thing, right?
Correct.
So it depends on the what quality of the original manuscript is, as to what technology you need to use to have a standard output, right? But even then, once you have done that, the question, what do you do with it? Because if you think that, oh, you have saved it because you digitized this, I'm sorry to say, but that's not true. And the reason is, as technology improved, the longevity decreased.
Correct.
Stone tablets from 10,000 years ago is still there, standing outside in the rain and sunshine. Palm leaves lasted 800 years. Paper, 150 years. Other things. So what about computers? 3 years, 4 years? What happened to the floppy disks that you had? What happened to the DVDs?
Yeah. They're gone.
So we need to have a physical artifact, have something physical. So we use 3 different technologies for that. The first one is simple, of course, the paper. And so you can take this image and print it, but it's a special type of printing, but nevertheless it's printing. And that paper that we use is the same quality of paper on which the Constitution of India is written, which is 75 years old.
Yeah.
And the reason it has lasted is it's 100% cotton and there's no acid in there,
Acid in it.
right? Those are 2 important characteristics. The paper we use also, it's expensive, but that's what we use. So we print it, bind it, and keep it as books. So if you, our library is in a very tiny place called Pajaka in near Udupi.
In Udupi or Pajaka?
Yeah, it's about 10, 11 kilometers from Udupi. And of course, all your viewers and yourself, please visit us. We can show you all this. As of now, we have about, out of those 3,000
300
plus manuscripts we have imaged, in book form we have about 1,600. It's an ongoing process, right?
Wow, fantastic.
That's one thing. Second technology, we just recently, just about a year ago, we started experimenting with that. I cannot give you conclusive things, but we're using 3D printing.
Okay.
Because that also builds layer by layer. Matter of fact, very recently, I don't know if I have time to tell this story, but the oldest Bhagavad Gita is in Bodleian Library in Oxford. So I went 2 times to Oxford University trying to get it back and beg, and they didn't give it to me. But they did say that if you pay for it, we'll give you very, very high resolution digital image. So I got that. I bought it. I paid for it and got it. This several years ago. So that we put it in 3D printing, and just during my last visit in February or something, in Udupi Sri Krishna Matha, we went and offered it to Sri Krishna.
Oh, lovely.
So that was a big deal. So they have that now.
Oh, fantastic.
In
So it's at the temple now.
It's at the temple. It's in the
So
Krishna
now
Matha.
one more visit is due.
And the other thing is, this is another technology we have. I don't know. I can just show it.
Yeah,
like
you
this.
can, you can.
Yeah.
It looks like a disc.
It looks like a disc, but it's not. This is, we call this wafer fish.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
can you see it?
Yeah, I'm going to, can I hold this?
Yeah, sure.
You can explain it to our viewers.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
hold
yeah.
this.
There
See,
you
there
go.
will be some reflection, but this is the side and this is where it is. And this is, you can explain to our viewers. Yeah.
Sure. So the base is a silicon wafer, and it uses semiconductor technology. So we use metallization on top of silicon,
Okay.
and it turns out that lasts forever. Okay.
Wow. So metallization on top of silicon, that's what it is. And these lines that you see,
It's not
they are not actually lines. They're just miniaturized
correct.
pages of the script.
Correct. So that image that you get from each palm leaf,
Yeah.
we reduce it 50 times,
Wow.
and it is put on that.
So if I were to take a magnification glass or a lens that can magnify it about 50 times, I can read it.
Yes, sir.
So I can read this. So,
Yes.
and this is the Sarvamula Grantha
Correct.
of
And-
Madhvacharya.
Correct.
800 years old.
Yes, sir.
In just one plate, one disc.
That's right. And well, whatever is remaining, it's not all
Yeah.
of it. Some
Yeah,
of it
so-
was destroyed.
Yeah.
But And that exactly is what our Honorable Prime Minister saw a few months ago that fascinated
Yes, so
him.
that was the visit, and so he saw the 3D printing, and he also saw
He saw this,
this. He saw
actually,
this
no, with the magnifying thing.
with the magnifying
Yes,
thing.
yes.
So he was able to read it.
Read, yes.
So does that mean that there will be more impetus towards preserving some more scriptures and
Well, I hope
places?
so. I hope so.
Lovely.
This is not something used for everything because it's a little expensive.
Yeah.
And so we call this the wafer fish. One interesting thing
But
about
how long will this last?
we gave it to New York State Archives to test it because, we can say random things, but they have a scientific way of testing things. They said that they used all their things and uh, they can only go up to 500 years. So their thing is, for sure it'll last 500 years.
Minimum of 500
Minimum
years.
500 years, but there's a probably more 1,000 years plus. One other thing also I should mention about this is not this plastic, it's just a case, but the wafer itself is fireproof and waterproof. You can actually take it,
And put it in the fire, but
yes,
it won't
we
burn.
have videos of
So
doing that.
it can really withstand
Up
a
to
huge amount.
900 degrees centigrade,
Wow. Wow.
right? Centigrade, not Fahrenheit.
So 900 degrees centigrade
Cent-
it can withstand.
Yeah, correct.
That's
And-
extreme heat.
Yes, we have actually taken this, stuck it in a fire for like a minute or two, taken out, just washed it with soap water, and it looks as good as new.
Oh, fantastic.
And it's also waterproof. So humidity, one of the biggest problems we have with other media is humidity.
Humidity.
More than fire is humidity actually, but it's not. This
So
is
it's waterproof too.
waterproof
So
as
at
well.
least another 500 years to
For sure.
For sure.
For
And
sure.
by then maybe somebody
one
else
other-
like a Professor Mukund will come by and evolve some other technology that
Who
can,
knows?
so that the process of eternity continues.
I hope so. But there's one other thing we should mention about this is that it requires no hardware or software.
To read, you can just pick it up. All you need is a lens, a magnifying lens.
Correct. That's important because, as you know, computer technology changes constantly. So we cannot make something which uses some software of today to read 500 years.
So the next thing you have to engineer is a very easy portable lens that can be carried in the hand.
Oh, it's
to
already
do a
there.
50 plus magnification.
Actually, it's already there.
Oh, it's already there.
Yeah, I didn't make it, but that's
It's
what
already there.
It's a small thing. It's not very fancy, but yeah, any
possible.
microscope can do
It's
this.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay, we have run out of time, but my final question, Professor, why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this? The
What's your-
manuscript,
everything.
everything.
Yeah, what's your motivation?
My motivation is that I see
What is the axle, if I may ask you? Yeah.
the actual is Hariseva, but how does it manifest?
Manifest.
And that manifestation is that it's sort of like we are like suppose there's a very rich man and he didn't trust banks, so he got gold coins, buried it in his backyard, and covered it up, and his grandson or somebody later doesn't know that, and he's going around begging for money because there's nothing to eat. In a way, spiritually speaking, I sort of feel like that we are doing that because we have a treasure unbelievable.
Yes.
And if you can only apply it, forget about learning Sanskrit and other, if you can apply it in our every single day life, I can give you many, many, many examples in my own life where amazing things have happened. And so my thing is, the least I can do is share it with others. That's my motivation.
Fantastic, and that's where it is seva and seva.
It is
Paramo
seva.
Dharma
I'm
is-
just a servant. That's all I am.
That's where it comes from. So the teachings of Hari are right there, core to the philosophy that you're espousing. Phenomenal work, amazing conversation. It is a very short one, hopefully a longer one, closer to where your library is in the near future.
Please
That's what
do
we'll
visit. Please do visit. I think you can actually, if you come with your staff, you can actually look at everything and we can have both a conversation and you can physically look at how all these things are done.
Yeah, we'll do that. And I'll take you up on that very soon.
Please
Professor.
do. Please
Thank
do.
you so much.
Thank you.
Professor
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.